Hello everyone, my name is Alberto, welcome back to my channel. So I finally got a loom from Ashford and I decided to film my process in finishing it because when you get this sort of loom from this brand, the wood is not finished, so you need to apply some sort of coating on it, and I really struggled finding any video on how to do that, and I was terrified on ruining it, so I decided to film my own process. The loom arrived in this box. The rest of the stuff was sort of extra heddles and accessories I got. It was packed really neatly. It's uh, as you can see, unfinished wood. It's very light in color. I did take out all the pieces, check them, lightly sand them all. Was very excited about my purchase. And then I dusted them with a rag in order to remove any excess dust that could, you know, ruin the finish of it. But yeah, I'm basically taking out all the pieces that are actually made of wood and need to undergo the treatment. Because the rest is basically plastic cogs, some screws, and some other metal stuff. So this is all the contents of the box. I prepared some of the pieces like the heddles, where I covered with tape all the plastic parts because I didn't want to stain them, because what I decided to do is actually to stain my loom. I wasn't a huge fan of the light wood color, and although it's natural, it doesn't really go with the rest of the furniture in my house, so I decided to go with the darker one, and I found a liquid stain in dark walnut, which is a cool dark brown, and I really liked it. I decided to go with the liquid stain because you can find all sort of products that are also stains. They might be tinted waxes or other finishes, but this is straight up a liquid stain, which means it just color basically. So according to instructions, I mixed it. By the way, I got this from Amazon. It was pretty easy to find, and again, according to instructions, I just painted it on. In my case, since again this is raw wood and the color also depends on what's underneath, I did get a sort of paler color than I expected on the first application, so I did a second pass in order to get sort of a deeper, richer color. But I guess that's up to taste, really. Also, it seems a bit difficult to do all the pieces, but this is not actually sticky, it's just wet. So if you put down something protective like I did with these old newspapers, you can just put down the pieces. Some of it might be absorbed by the newspaper, but it's not gonna stick to it, and it's not even gonna leach that much color off. So in the end, for me at least, was a pretty easy experience. So I just decided to paint over the whole thing. And as I was saying, in my case, the wood absorbed it a lot. It might have been fine anyway, because then when you go to put another finish on, because the stain is just basically color, but it doesn't actually protect the wood from anything. Since it gets absorbed, you need to put some sort of protection, which could be a varnish, a lacquer, a wax, or even some polyurethanes, which do give some cool finishes, but they're sort of complicated to use. They're not really environmentally friendly, so I wasn't a fan. I decided to go with the wax because I do like the matte finish, and it was easy and quick to work with. So after applying it to all the pieces, I did let them dry. The instructions were not super clear about this, and checking online, I got all sort of different times. Overall, I decided to let it dry for a full day just to be safe. But since after about a couple of hours was completely dry to the touch, that's when I went and did my second coating again, just to reach sort of the color that I wanted. And in some bits I had a little bit of patchiness, so that helped making everything nice and uniform and dark. So I just finished painting the whole thing with 2 coats, let it dry overnight, and the day after, when it was completely dry, I went on with my finish. In my case, I decided to go with the wax. It's a beeswax with some other oils, natural oils inside. It's non-toxic, doesn't smell like anything, and it's pretty easy to work with. Again, I got this from Amazon, but I'm pretty sure you can find something similar everywhere. I use these cheap sponges from IKEA because I read that it's better to use the sort of gritty side of the sponge to apply it with. And I just generously applied the wax everywhere, basically. This, again, is not sticky and more so oily. I did try as much as possible to avoid putting a treated bit already immediately on the paper, but when I did, I went back and added a bit more in the sides that were touching the paper just to make sure that it was fully saturated. But yeah, basically put generous amount of wax over everything, let it dry about 6 hours. In my case, I think was fine. You could let it dry overnight. Again, was really excited to put my loom together, but also it did feel dry, except for a slight oily film on top. But as per the instructions on the box said, that was supposed to be normal. So I just wiped off every piece with a rag, a cotton rag, just sort of to buff them in. And it, in the beginning, you get sort of a very slight sheen, like a dull sheen on every piece, which I thought was very cool. It did get more opaque as it dried, but this is a wax. You can apply it more time even in the future. You're supposed to put it at least once a year, I think, so it's a pretty easy finish to put, and it's gonna make sure that, you know, your wood stays together and lasts a long time. After that, what I did is, according to instructions of the loom, I started putting it together, but I didn't use it. I put it together and let it dry again another half day, just because I didn't let dry the wax for 12 hours or even 24. So I just put the loom together, basically wiped it again in order to make sure that everything was in place, and let it dry one more day, and that's it. So here's my result. I'm incredibly happy with it. To me, this is what comes to mind when you think loom, like a dark walnut, old, classic wood. I even got a gold pen to go over the Ashford logos, but I haven't got time to do it yet. But yeah, I'm very, very happy with how it came out. I hope you guys like it and it was useful for you. As I said, I did not find any other sort of tutorial. So hope you liked the video. If you did, please put a like and subscribe. It's a great help for me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.